Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new Chao World playthrough. To give you all some backstory, I've been playing the Chao Garden on and off for the past 20 years now, basically since I was a kid on the GameCube version. I had a 400-hour file where I accomplished pretty much everything I wanted, and I was living pretty good in that Chao Garden until my memory card got corrupted, it got wiped, and I lost all my data. Now, after messing around in the Steam version, I'd like to start from scratch again and try to get back what I lost and more. I'll probably be 100%ing Sonic Adventure 2 on the side, but I'll try to leave that out for now. This won't be a normal Chao Garden playthrough by any means. I have a large list of goals I want to accomplish and some mods I'd like to turn on to spice up the journey. The first episode I plan to be more of an introduction to my series, as many players may not have access to these mods or know what they all do. I'd hate to have people watching who have no idea what a mod even is or what mod does what feature and things like that, because I know when I've watched other series it can get a little confusing sometimes. So I'm about to explain that in a minute. After I introduce every mod's feature and what it does, I plan to go over some goals, and then I guess we'll jump right into it. So for starters, I'm going to be going over the smallest mods that I'm going to be using, which are things like the 3D Emotion Ball mod, which adds a little bit of depth to the emotion balls. The HD Chao Texture mod, which will make the Chao textures look a little nicer. The Improved Waypoints mod, which is going to increase the area around the gardens that the Chao can travel to. We're going to have a skin pack for the lobby and the kindergarten right out of the gate. I plan to introduce a couple more, but there's one feature I'd like to check out in the regular garden before doing anything like that. We're going to have the Character Select Plus mod on. That allows me to select any character, including the two-player exclusive ones, to go into the Chao Garden. That should be fun. We're going to have the Chao Data Menu mod, which allows me to see the Chao stats in the game without having to go to the doctor. Thank God for that. We are going to have the Better Radar mod on, which will allow Knuckles and Rouge stages to be 10 times less painful. We're adding the Chao Partner mod, which is going to allow me to take my Chao outside of the Chao Garden and into the stage. That's just an aesthetic one, but it's very cool. We're also going to be adding a few big ones, like the Extra Chao Garden Races and the Extra Chao Garden Karate mods, which are going to be a ton of fun. Then we have the big boy. We're going to be adding the Chao World Extended mod. And this mod has so many features that I'm going to go in depth onto it right now. We're going to go over every feature that I'm going to enable and what exactly they're going to do. Alright, now for the big boy. There is one mod called Chao World Extended, like I mentioned, that I am going to be using. Now, this is the biggest Chao World mod that's ever existed. It's made by Darky Benji and a bunch of other people who have contributed, and it's currently in version 9.5. I think its most polished version by far. If you'll notice on my channel, I have an outdated playthrough where I played through, I think, version 6 of this mod. And while it was amazing back then, things were much less clear and concise. Now there's actually kind of a path and a point to everything, so I'll be going over every single mod that I have enabled here from start to finish. And I'll be going in depth. So get ready. For starters, the main Chao World Extended mod comes with new toys to the gardens. It allows Chao to climb walls, and it adds new TV channels. It fixes some texture glitches, including the Bright Chao. So no Bright Chao. Sorry, folks. It adds a day and night cycle, which we'll be checking out before any textures I add to the gardens. It overhauls the black market to have it replace the stock every 6 to 8 minutes with a timer in the black market. It adds tabs for different kinds of items, and it lets us buy 10 items per visit. It also adds a ton of new fruits I'll be taking advantage of, including mints, which are basically skill fruits on steroids, and red mushrooms, which dramatically speed up the aging of a Chao. There are other items which will be added to the black market that I'll go over, like cosmetic wings, which will cost 500 rings from the black market, and it lets us change the wing color of Chao to match their base texture. The reverse mirror, which adds a mirror to the black market, and it costs 2,000 rings, and it swaps the color of dark Chao to basically invert what they currently are. It's very cool. A suspicious potion, which will instantly push a Chao to die or reincarnate when given to them. It costs 50,000 rings. The Hero Chao brush, which lets us change the highlights of Hero Chao, almost like the reverse mirror for Dark Chao, but instead for Hero Chao. Lenses, which let us change the eye color of our Chao, and even lets us unlock a secret Chao. Ooh. Accessories like hats and sunglasses, which I'm not too fond of, but I figure why not. The Skill Seed, which lets us grow skill trees in our garden, which grow skill fruit. Random fruit that attracts animals from Sonic Adventure DX. and Hyper Fruit, which cost 10,000 rings each and let us upgrade a Chao stat from S rank to X rank. In the kindergarten, we have the classroom enhancement, which makes learning new things much more streamlined from the kindergarten. And the doctor has some new features too, like telling us a lot more information, including the lifespan of a Chao. It lets us upgrade a Chao's stat from, say, C to B, so long as it's level 99, and we spend 20 to 40,000 rings to do so. Animals and Chaos Drives are now reusable, along with Chaos Drives being much more powerful, as I prefer to stay sane during this journey. We also have a few changes to breeding, which include every time you breed, you have a chance at getting the rare egg Chao from that one old weird vanilla race. So 1 out of 100 chance per any egg bred, so I hope we get that. The two-tone Chao will have their unique two-tone eggs. Jewel races will now give us a Jewel Chao, and with a medal on, a neutral Chao can even breed a Jewel Chao. So for example, if I have a Chao that has a Topaz medal on, and they're two neutral Chao, no colors, and they breed, we could pop out a Topaz egg. Texture Chao are now obtainable by having a Chao breed while they have the Diamond medal equipped. I'll be experimenting a lot with those, I think they look very cool. Shiny Jewel Chao are restored to their GameCube version, meaning we can get Invisible, Transparent, and Mint Chao. We can now obtain all of the lost character Chao, those being Tails, Knuckles, Amy, and Omo Chao. Omo Chao can be bought in the black market after beating a modded race, and built in the garden, while Amy, Knuckles, and Tails can be gotten by making them Chaos Chao, but with Run Power and Fly Influence respectively. Chaos can have more actions they can perform, such as chatting and forming bonds with each other. We've brought back some unused toys, including a rattle meant for the Dark and Hero Garden, a floaty in the Hero Garden, and a giant rubber ducky. We can also move toys between gardens now, if we so desire. Chao can have birthday parties. Fruits have been buffed a lot. They now never despawn and instantly grow when possible. We may pack our gardens, so it's probably needed. Speaking of that, there's a 24 Chao in 1 garden code that I will enable in the late game. One I'm most excited for is Monster Evolution. Once a Chao has over 2,000 points in a stat, it can continue to gain influence in that stat to affect its physical appearance. This can create some pretty wild looking Chao. It is only aesthetic, but it reminds me of those old videos with the modded gardens back in 2008, so I'll definitely be messing with that. We've also added some things to make it harder. Bully Chao, which have Chao build up anger when they are neglected, and they'll take it out on other Chao, which can be rough to deal with. And sicknesses are back, meaning we may have to go to the doctor if one gets sick. This was actually meant to be in the vanilla game on GameCube, but for some reason it was left out. I also have enabled the auto-generate stats as they grow feature, which has Chao stats slowly level up to level 10 on their own before I even give them anything. This will have them walking and swimming without my influence, but it won't have them strong enough to even beat beginner races. We also have the Chao counter feature, so whenever I pause, I can see how many Chao are in my garden. We have the dynamic lifetime code, which causes Chao to age faster when there are less Chao in the garden. We have the lucky Chao code, which is a fun code that lets hatched Chao have a 1 in 60 chance to have a random hat on. We have the personality multiplier code, which causes Chao to be heavily influenced by their attitude. Oh, interesting. We have removed the Dark Chao Eye override, so Chao that turn into Dark type will not be permanently angry after they evolve. We've added more Chao animations, camera enhancements, and the last thing I added was Chao can gain XP during Chao races. It's not a lot, but it's very nice. And for now, that's it, I think. I may add more as time goes on, but I will definitely go over them just like I have here when I ever do. Now, here are some vanilla and modded goals I'd like to accomplish, starting with the vanilla goals. When I say I want to accomplish some vanilla goals, what I mean is that they can be done on the GameCube version of Sonic Adventure 2 without any mods. These mods that I have definitely make it a little bit easier, but it's things that I've done on my own GameCube, so I would like to accomplish all of these again. Number 1 is I want to beat all the vanilla races and karate. This is actually required to get the modded races anyway, so we're going to be smashing those out. I would like to have my starter 2 Chao turn into a Chaos Hero and a Chaos Dark Chao, respectively. I think that would be fun for them. I'd like a white 2-tone Chao. This is my first 2-tone Chao back in the day, and I would love to get my hands on another one. I would like to get some of the shiny jewel Chao that I lost in the GameCube version, including Invisible, Transparent, and Mint Chao. Excuse me, I had all of those and I lost them, and I'd like to get them again. And I'd like to have an all S-rank Chao. That's going to be the hardest one by far, but I think we could do it. Now I have some goals that I want to also accomplish thanks to the mods we have here, so I'm going to list those now. I would like to have some nice textured Chao. I think those would be awesome. There's a bunch of them that I'll show off, but there's a couple that I want in particular. I'd like to experience monster evolution. I'd like to get a bright Chao if possible. The mods kind of make it impossible, but I'd like to try. I'd like to fully build an Omo Chao. I'd like to get an Egg Chao. I'd like to get Amy, Knuckles, and Tails Chao. I'd like to beat the new Karate, and I'd like to beat the modded races. Now those last two are going to be very hard. We're definitely going to need an all S rank Chao anyway for that, so hopefully it's not tough. Some side goals I'm going to go for are going to be filling up the garden with 24 Chao, swapping out as much garden textures as possible, actually completing Sonic Adventure 2 with all 180 emblems and getting a shiny black Chao, and getting a couple other hidden Chao that I talk about, or that I touched on earlier, which I'd like to show off once we get there. And yeah, I just have a couple rules I'd like to go over, and then we're jumping right in. And those rules are: no Chao editor access. I will not be cheating in any way, so I will not be editing my Chao's stats or affinity in any way. All this is going to be done through the legit game. I don't plan on cheating. We're not going to speed up the time. We're not going to have rings generate for our black market usage. I'm going to get all my rings legitimately. We can actually earn rings through races later, so that'll be nice. And yeah, no debug menu for the black market, so I'll have to actually wait for the items to show up as they would naturally. And I think that's everything. So if you've actually made it through all of this, thank you. I hope this clearly outlines my plans for the series. I think it's going to be very fun with a structured set of goals and a path that I want to follow, and I hope you're all ready for the ride. So without further ado, let's jump right into it.